Hazard perception. I'm going to make this video today about the hazard perception. Yep, it's going to be about the one that you do in your theory. So I'm going to give you some tips about how to pass your hazard perception part of it, you know, when you've got to click the mouse button and get as many points as you possibly can. So I'm just going to give you some tips on that, but I'm also going to elaborate on hazard perception when you're actually driving. The hazard perception is done in your theory, so it can start to teach you to look for the hazards on the road as you're driving, which will make you a much safer driver. And if a driving instructor didn't have good hazard perception, they would be crashing with their students all the time, right? So a driving instructor's hazard perception is going to be absolutely outrageously good, yeah? Now, when you're driving around, hazard perception, there's going to be times where areas are going to potentially have more hazards to them. So if you're driving down the road and then there's a road coming up on the left, this area is going to be a high risk for something to happen. So it's more likely that there's going to be a hazard when there's a road on the left, or there's more chance of there being a hazard because there's now a bus stop on the right. Do you see what I mean? There's more chance of a hazard if there's an overtaking lane coming to an end and people are going to be like, you know, taking their chances and overtaking at the very last minute and then coming into the left. So there's areas of the road where it's more likely. Some students can have a low amount of anticipation, and I'm afraid that these type of people, they are very much at risk of having an accident because they're not doing the what ifs. What if somebody comes? What if the person crosses the road? What if the dog comes off the lead? What if somebody comes round the blind bend? So having anticipation is incredibly important, and your understanding that the looking for hazards is very important. Now, when you're driving around, if you become very good at hazard anticipation and looking for your hazards, you're going to be a safer driver because you're looking for them. But also, I know that they can come out of nowhere, and that's what an accident is, right? So, you know, bananas things can happen, and that's what an accident is. You know, you can do your very, very best to drive with all the anticipation in the world, but, you know, something happens, and that's when people start having accidents, right? Let's talk about the hazard perception video. Now, let's just say, yeah, that you've got a 60-second clip. Sorry, I can't see. A 60-second clip on your hazard perception. Now, most of the clips, bar one, are going to have one developing hazard, and one of the clips is going to have two developing hazards. Okay, but I'm just going to keep it basic with the one, just so I can explain the picture. Let's just say that the video clip that you're watching is 1 minute long, and this is it. Okay, so you've got 0 seconds up to 60 seconds, and then all these lines are the seconds up to 60. Now, within this video that you're watching, maybe a car's going to pull out in front of you, or a person is going to run across the road, and that's going to be the developing hazard. So if you were to click your mouse over here, that would be a score of 0 because you're not in the scoring box of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The earlier that you see the hazard, if you see it early, you're going to get 5 points. If you see it slightly later, you're going to get 3 or whatever. And the further down the line, you're going to get less and less points. If you press beforehand, you're going to get 0 points, and if you press after, you're going to get 0 points. If you press somewhere in the scoring 5 seconds, then you're going to get the points that are in correlation to when you've pressed, right? So my advice to students is press, wait, press, or click, wait, click. So basically, if you're watching the video and then you see a car like starting to approach the T-junction really quickly, then you could do click, wait, click. So the reason why I tell my students to do that is because if they click outside of the scoring box and get 0, and then wait a second and then click again, they'll probably score 4 points, okay, which is cool. If they go click, wait, click, and they've actually pressed on 5 and got the maximum, and then they go wait, click, and then they get 3, it's still going to give you the 5 because you clicked on the first one, which is 5 points. If you click afterwards and the hazard has literally made the car slow down in the video and you're clicking afterwards, it's far too late. You're gonna get 0. So you're basically trying to see the hazard as early as possible, because that's your hazard perception, that's your anticipation. Oh, what's he up to? That looks weird. Yeah, and you're trying to click and get the most amount of points. Now, if you click all the time on the video, then it's going to think you're cheating. So you can't just be like this, yeah, all right, Roz, I'll just click all the time, because at that rhythm, they're going to think that you're cheating. So you might click multiple times in the video sporadically, but you're only going to get the points in the scoring box, okay? So you might click here because it's raining, or you might click here because there's a bend coming up, and then you're like, hold on a minute, that person's going quite fast, he's coming up to the junction, click, wait, click, and then he's pulled out in front of you, and so that, you know. So basically the developing hazard, which hazard is going to make the car in the video slow down? Maybe you're watching the video and then the bus pulls up and then the person who was on the left starts to run, right? And then you go, oh, this pedestrian's starting to run, click, wait, click, and then you get, you know, you're in the scoring box again. Now, this is an example of the one that's only got the one hazard in it, but remember that one of the clips is going to have 2 hazards in it. So there's going to be 2 scoring boxes that open with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is all well and good because that's your theory that we're talking about, but it doesn't end there. Like, you've got the rest of your life to like drive, right? So all these things like from the video that you're seeing are going to happen in real life. So the person is going to start running for the bus, or the group of lads on the left who are laughing and like pushing each other, and like, you know, that could happen. Or like the other day, me and a student saw a bike and he's chatting to his mate, he's like riding on the wrong side of the road, like coming towards us, looking at his mate, like not even looking at the road. You know, he might swerve, he might go into a pothole and fall. You know, all sorts of stuff is going to happen, yeah. And you really need to like anticipate the worst case scenario, like this person's not even looking, or the person's starting to run, or the person's approaching the junction too quickly, or that person looks confused, like better be careful of them. So basically the road, when everything is like normal, like I liken the road to be like a black and white picture. If everybody's conforming and they're following all the rules correctly, the road can actually be quite a boring place because everybody's just doing their normal thing. Everyone's behaving like we should, and the road is, okay, I've used the word boring, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But the road is normal, there is no hazards, everybody is doing the correct thing, slowing down, giving way, everything is normal. And I call it the black and white picture. So when the road is normal and nobody's mucking about or making any mistakes or doing anything, it's the black and white picture. There's nothing really going on, nothing really that scary about it. But as soon as you add something that's like almost like salient, like just seriously unusual, someone breaking the speed limit, someone running across the road, the dog gets off the lead, you know, it is suddenly not the black and white picture anymore. Something is now dangerous and completely different, completely mucks up the picture, and I call it the pink splodge. So the pink splodge is maybe like the dog gets off the lead and just runs into the road. And that you will look at straight away because you're like, whoa, that is bonkers. So now the picture is completely ruined, yeah? Because there's something within it that the road is not normal. It's not conforming. It's not doing the normal thing, yeah? Now, the dog getting off the lead is just an easy one because that's just bonkers, isn't it? I've seen that a few times when I've been like, driving around, but like, it could be like somebody breaking the speed limit, like coming up to the side, just like the hazard perception video. It's a pink splodge. It's unusual. Something's going on. Yeah, you are going to see things that are unusual. This is unusual. This is why we've got blue lights on emergency vehicles, because it's unusual, it's salient, it's different. That's why we've got the noise, the sirens, yeah? That's why we've got indicators, because it's like salient, it's like flashing, you know? And it's like, oh, something different's going on here. My eye's attracted to the difference. It's like salient activity. If you went to a really posh dinner party and everyone's there with their like tuxedo on and their beautiful dress, and then somebody just comes in stark naked and just runs around like an idiot, like clucking like a chicken, you are going to see this situation, because it's just bizarre and it's wrong and it's just, this is not correct. Yeah. So like you are going to see the things that are like incorrect and wrong, and you're going to be like, that's a pink splodge, that shouldn't really be here. Yeah. So you can look at the road like that. And I know that pink splodges, and I know that weird things are going to happen, and they're just going to be upon you. And they are very shocking. And normally when that happens, I'm afraid there's probably going to be an accident, because it all happens so quickly and it's the accident. But the pink splodges can be in certain areas, more likely to be in certain areas. Yeah. So if there's a junction coming up, more likely to be pink splodges over there. Coming up to a roundabout, more likely to be pink splodges over there. The overtaking lane on the right coming back into the left, very more likely that there's going to be pink splodges all over the place. Yeah. Bus stop coming up, pink splodges everywhere. People walking out. Yeah. Stuff like that. So yeah, just like basically it's conforming and doing the rules of the road is really important, because you don't want to be the pink splodge. You don't want to be the person who's on the road, yeah, being the pink splodge and making everybody worried about you. You know, you need to have a conforming attitude to the road, which makes you a good driver, a safe driver. We're conforming, yes. We're doing the same. If everybody conforms and does the same thing, I know that sounds boring, but this is where like lives are going to be saved. We're conforming. We're using a car to be able to travel around, to be able to get to Alton Towers, to be able to get to the shop, to be able to do cool things, and we want to arrive alive. We don't want to be like driving like an absolute lunatic to get there, and we are the pink splodge putting other people's lives in danger. If we see a pink splodge with anybody, let me guess that you've slagged off somebody who's a pink splodge. Somebody does something and you will say to somebody else, God, that person's an idiot. Like if they're driving down a 30 at like 50 miles an hour and they're like going down, you're very likely to be like, he's an idiot, you know, because you know that his behaviour isn't conforming and he's putting lives at risk, or whoever it is. I always mail everything, by the way. Please ignore the fact that I just mail everybody. Cars are mail, like situations are mail. Please don't read into that. All right. It's just that I grew up with my brothers, right? So everything's mail. Okay. So please don't take any, like anything to that. You know, women can drive like lunatics as well. Yeah. We don't want to be the pink splodge. All right. So anyway, I really hope that helps you. And yeah, just look out, be aware, use anticipation. Yeah. This could happen. What if somebody comes round the bend? Yeah. The road is wet. What if a bike's coming and they slip? You know, just stuff like that. Just to be a safe driver, we need to use anticipation and we need to conform as much as possible. Yeah, if you want to not conform, go to a racetrack and not conform there. But the road itself, we should be conforming and following the rules to keep people safe. Yeah. If I could do one thing and keep the road safe, that's what I would try and do. All right, guys. So I really hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next video.